In 2008, the Abu Dhabi United Group, led by Sheikh Mansour, bought 90% of Man City shares for £210 million. Upon completion of his purchase, he transformed the fortunes of Manchester City overnight. Since he purchased the club, they have won 7 Premier League titles, 6 League Cups, 3 FA Cups, 1 Champions League, 1 Super League, and most recently, 1 Club World Cup. It's safe to say the on-the-pitch success has been evident from day one. But the success didn't just end on the pitch. Off the pitch, with 2 of his closest associates, Sheikh Mansour has been building a global empire. This empire has seen them grow a footballing presence in almost every single continent on the planet, a relentless pursuit of excellence and success globally. So with this, 3 obvious questions pose themselves. Who are the people he works with? Which clubs have they bought along the way? And why are they doing this? Today, the long play brings you answers to all 3, and we start with the man himself. Sheikh Mansour is a quiet man. He doesn't make very many public appearances. After a few years of owning Manchester City initially, he then sought 2 comrades to come with him. The first, Chiqui Beguristan from Barcelona. The second, also from Barcelona, Ferran Soriano. He was under the Barcelona regime with Joan Laporta for a number of years. When he joined Barcelona, they had annual revenues of just over 100 million euros. By the time he left, they had annual revenues of over 300 million euros. He was a mastermind, but not only was he good at turning the financial fortunes of Barcelona around, he also was a big thinker. See, at Barcelona, he wanted to turn them into a global powerhouse, but didn't manage to do it. That vision he brought along with him to Manchester City. Together, Soriano, Beguristan, and Sheikh Mansour formed City Football Group, a holding company with the sole mission to build a global footballing empire around the world. A football group is not a new concept. Man City are maybe the most successful, but there are other famous ones too. You'll probably be familiar with the Red Bull footballing group. Leipzig is the landmark organization in the group, but they also have Red Bull Salzburg, New York Red Bulls, and Red Bulls Bragantino in Brazil. Similarly, American billionaire John Textor, he is quietly building a pretty comprehensive footballing group too. John Textor owns Crystal Palace, Olympique Lyon, Botafogo in Brazil, FC Florida in the US, and Molenbeek in Belgium. There are some others too, but none match the global nature of the City Football Group. Shortly after the City Football Group was founded, they set on a timeline of purchasing a lot of football clubs. The first being New York FC. After that came Melbourne FC, Yokohama Marinos, Sichuan Jinyu, Montevideo City Torque, Girona FC, Mumbai City FC, Troyes, Palermo, FC Bahia, and Club Bolivar. One thing you notice about all of these clubs, they are in almost every single continent around the world. One of those clubs is Girona FC. In my newsletter, I wrote a comprehensive breakdown about City Footballing Group buying Girona FC, how they bought it, who they bought it with, and the success they've seen from that acquisition. My newsletter breaks down a story every single week about the business behind sport in the UK or the EU. It's delivered to your inbox every Monday at 11 AM GMT. Subscribe below. Why would City Football Group spend all this money buying all of these football clubs around the world? Well, there are 3 clear and obvious reasons why they would do that. The first is for footballing reasons. By having clubs in every single continent on the planet, Man City have essentially formed a global scouting network. They now have scouts in every single region, finding young, talented, undervalued assets, which they can produce, develop, and then funnel back to the main club, Manchester City. Let's take the year 2022, for example. There were 4 players on Man City's books. Young, talented players. Luka Ilicic, Marlos Moreno, Eric Palmer-Brown, and Ante Palaversa. They were all sent to Troyes, the French City Football Group owned club, to go and play. By virtue of that, Man City essentially kept 4 young talented players on their books, in their network, so that they can develop and play in the French league. Should they develop and play well, they can simply come back to Manchester City and work their way into the first team. It's a genius system that has worked to their advantage. Similarly, there have been players in the City Football Group ecosystem which have helped Girona FC get to very high status in La Liga very quickly. That's another example of where this network has paid dividends. The second is for marketing power. If Manchester City sign a commercial partner by themselves, it's great. High exposure in European competitions, great success in the Premier League. But if there are 13 clubs in the City Football Group ecosystem, then all of a sudden that brand has exposure globally. In Australia, in South America, in Europe, in the MLS, all of a sudden the potential for that commercial partner skyrockets. The City Football Group can therefore demand more money from that brand to be a commercial partner. Finally, the financial aspects. The City Football Group paid $100 million for the expansion fee to buy New York City Football Club. They've invested into that franchise along the way, But since then, according to Forbes, at the beginning of 2023, the average valuation of an MLS club is $579 million. Already, that investment has seen a healthy amount of return for the City Football Group. Girona are another one. 6 years ago, the City Football Group invested a nominal amount of money in Girona FC. Girona are now doing very well in La Liga and potentially may secure European football by the end of this season. Should they do that, they will benefit from European revenues that they've never seen before, massively increasing the commercial potential for Girona FC and also making them far more attractive for players. European football raises the valuation of Girona FC immensely. What would the City Football Group's stake in Girona FC be worth today? The financial implications of taking undervalued clubs, using the network to bring players to those clubs, increasing their fortunes, is exponential. On top of that, Sheikh Mansour and the City Football Group have presence and influence in almost every single continent. I'm sure this helps politically as well as commercially. So what next for City Football Group? Well, as you can see the map of clubs, you will see there is a massive continent where they do not have much presence. My prediction is that their next club, or one of the next clubs that they look to explore, will be in the continent of Africa. Some of the world's best players hail from the continent of Africa right now. It's a no-brainer that they look there next. Subscribe to the newsletter for more content like this delivered to your inbox every Monday at 11 a.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more video breakdowns.